The judiciary is actually captive to a group of people who we used to call the pro-ICC NGO brigade. That sounds, even when I make that statement, it sounds so dramatic, but that's actually what has happened. We have had a group of people who have been interested in ensuring that Uhuru Kenyatta never became president. They started before 2013. They went to court, it failed. He ran for president in 2013, he won, they petitioned, they failed. They went after him on the ICC, it failed. So now we have actually seen what can only be called a judicial coup, where the Kenyan people have decided that they want Uhuru Kenyatta as president. And then the Chief Justice, without explaining why, has decided that that election was not fair, it needed to be redone again. And the challenge is that, assume this was done again, the next election is also nullified. We're actually going to have a crisis. We are going to have, Kenyans cannot hold this together for too long. So I am convinced that the Chief Justice is a player, deliberately or unknowingly, in a judicial coup against the President of the Republic of Kenya. We also, them not come to Parliament for the first time since independence, to the opening of Parliament. I understood that to mean, and I'm a member of Parliament, I understood that to mean that as far as the judiciary is concerned, as far as the Chief Justice is concerned, he does not recognize that Uhuru Kenyatta is president of the Republic of Kenya at this moment in time. Now, nobody had gone to court to challenge the opening of Parliament. So you're left to wonder, on what basis would the judiciary refuse to attend the opening of Parliament? So the only people who have been saying they should not go to Parliament is NASA. So you're starting to ask yourself, are we saying that the Chief Justice and NASA are reading from the same book? If they're reading from the same book, does it mean that the decision to nullify the elections was premeditated? Is that what we're hearing? If it was premeditated because he actually admits he did not manage to go through all the documents he got, then finally, my final position, elections have always been about numbers. Everywhere, whether you're running for school prefect and you're being elected, whether you're running for chairman of the local cattle dip, or member of parliament, or president. It's always been about numbers. The Chief Justice made an interesting ruling, and it's also based on a journal that he wrote a couple of years ago, that the quality of an election is more important than the quantity of that election. Meaning that even if Uhuru Kenyatta got 10 million votes on 17th of October, and then somebody went to court, a voter goes to court, and proves that there was a problem with the process in his polling station, then you can actually nullify that election again. That is a very dangerous precedent that we are setting, because the candidates do not have control over process. They don't have. But then you're telling us that the candidates can keep being punished over and over and over again because of the failures of institutions that have been set up to run an election. I personally think that's unfair. I think it's undemocratic. And so that's why we're here. So we came to ask we filed a petition seeking leave from the Judicial Service Commission for us to actually come and explain why we believe that Chief Justice Maraga was involved in a judicial coup against President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Several questions arise. Let's start with number one. You're yet to see the full judgment. Isn't this premature to then, argue against a judgment for which you're yet to see in fullness in terms of what informed their arguments, unless you've seen one already? No,
it's not premature because he's already ruled. Kindly look.
But he has not explained.
He's already ruled and nullified an election and ordered another one be done. And that is being done. So a decision was made. So the reasons of the decision notwithstanding, a decision was made. In fact, you've actually raised my issue as well. On what basis did he make that decision? He said that the IEBC, but he told the IEBC to do the next election and told them they were guilty of the last one. Didn't tell them what they had done, and they are now setting up another election that goes in another, 30 days? So my question becomes, and that's why as you read this petition, you'll also see, it's a big picture.
Okay, good, because it's 60 days before an election has to be conducted, and also your indictment is of the Chief Justice. The decision was made by 4 judges, so why only go?
Because as far as I'm concerned, the Chief Justice exerted undue influence on the other 3, because he's the president of the judiciary. I have learned that Justice Ibrahim, what's his second name? The gentleman Mohammed Ibrahim had actually wanted to be part of that decision, and Justice Maraga stopped him, because he was indisposed. And he was indisposed for 1 day. But he could actually have been part of that decision. So we do not know whether if they had sat as 7 of them, the decision could have been different. Remember, in every group, there's somebody who is able to exert influence over the others. As far as I'm concerned, Chief Justice Maraga exerted undue influence over the other three.
So what are you asking the Judicial Service Commission to do?
First and foremost, Chief Justice Maraga needs to be censored. I believe he has participated in gross misconduct, which is unprofessional. I believe that that gross misconduct is trying to influence an election petition, a presidential election. I believe that... You know, I'm talking to this guy.
It's a challenge. But
I'm talking to this guy.
Yes.
All right. So I believe what I'm actually seeking for is a sit-in with the Judicial Service Commission to be able to explain to them why Chief Justice Maraga, first and foremost, should actually not be Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. Number two, yes.
But that is not the procedure for removing a Chief Justice.
But you start by taking a petition to the Judicial Service Commission. It's his employer. That's the first thing you do. Somebody has asked, why now? Why not now? I mean, is there a particular time?
In 2013, a similar decision was made. We
Yes.
waited for long before we could get a ruling, and we've criticized that ruling.